Hello everyone, welcome to episode 24/7. My name is Niharika Bhatnagar and I'm with you with the specific area of ABFM, sorry, AFM, Accounting and Financial Management for Bankers. And okay, ABFM is the subject of CIB. So currently I'm talking about AFM, preparation of the financial statements. But the financial statements play a very important role in the organization. See, they tell you about what money you have, how do you cater that money, and all that part is a very essential aspect. Okay? Why? Because when we talk about the studies and everything, if I talk about how much money is your business making, you will be saying, Ki pata ma'am, we are making this much amount of profit, or we are facing this kind of loss. Hai na? So that is one particular thing that you will find. Okay. So, what happens in this scenario is whenever we are dealing with the books of accounts and when we perceive further, one of the major issues is basically telling the people what kind of documents do you have and how do you show those documents. And if you ask me that, Niharika, what's the future of your organization, and I tell you, I think I'll come back to this point, but before that let me show you some documents that makes a conclusive work. I show you my profits, I show you our future plans, I show you our capital. All that part is a very essential aspect of our businesses. So when we talk about this specific area, what do we have? First of all, we have final accounts. Final accounts is the report card of the organization. What happens in this report card overall? One of the best thing that happens in this report card is in this report card you have your final accounts, you prepare your books of accounts, you put everything on the table. That is, your books of accounts shows how much profit, how much loss, what is the net worth of the organization. And yes, this is beyond the trial balance. Trial balance is just a working paper. It's like a place where you collect all the specific books of accounts and compile it together, and boom, you're done with final accounts. So when you're done with compilation of all the items in one particular place, it's trial balance. When you organize it in something like all the expenses on one side, incomes on one side, and finding the profit, all that part is a part of trial balance. So the key components are basically trading account, profit and loss account, and the last one would be our balance sheet, right? So this is visible. I hope it is, right? So let's talk about the next part further. This is our purpose of the financial accounts, and then we have the trial balance, and now let's talk about it further, everyone. Okay. Next part is the trading account. What is trading account, everyone? When we define the trading account, now it refers to that particular account in which we note down our all the expenses and the losses, but at the time of production. So what is production, everyone? If we talk about the production, production is something where I can say when you are producing something, all the expenses that are incurred regarding raw material, regarding your finished goods, all that is a part of trading account. Okay. So trading account is basically the account which talks about selling of goods, purchasing of goods, and the profit in between. You have to find out what is, see, if I'm going to produce these digital pens and then sell it to you, what will happen? My selling price will be determined on this specific basis, you know. So I have to find out that particular part. Then comes the components of trading account includes your, see, simplest method of understanding trading account. I had 10 chocolates. Okay. Everyone who has a particular sibling, now you will definitely understand this rivalry because we have done that. Okay. To be very honest, I have done that. I have a elder sibling. So whenever we were talking about all these finances, na, we were talking about the chocolates. So what used to happen? Yesterday, my father got 10 chocolates for me, 10 for her. So currently in the refrigerator, you will find 20 chocolates. If you've got these 20 chocolates, what happens is among those 20 chocolates, 10 are mine. So I'll just keep a check on mine. I've got 10 chocolates. Then during the year, during the day, I got let's make it like 20 chocolates. I bought more because I just got my pocket money and I decided to spend the entire amount on chocolates. So currently by the end of the day, as per my calculation, I should be having 20 plus 10, 30 chocolates. But to my surprise, by the end of the day, I have hardly, I would say, let's make it around 14 chocolates. Everyone, how many of these chocolates are hidden, gone, lost? What has happened during the day? I was expecting I would be having 30, but to my surprise, I'm having just 14. So in this case, 30 minus 14, currently I'm having just 16 chocolates. 16 chocolates which have been definitely been eaten or taken away, or 14 are the ones which are left. So in this case, when you start working, it's your opening stock. When you purchase more, it is your purchases. See, this was in the beginning of the day. Then during the day, I bought 20 more. I was expected to have these total of 30 based upon the previous and the current. But by the end of the day, whatever I'm left with is called my closing stock. So opening stock plus purchase minus the closing stock will give us our total consumption of raw material. So if I have got talk about raw material, during the year, if I start working, my opening value was 10,000. During the year, I purchased 20,000 more, which makes it a total of 30. Minus what is my closing stock? My closing stock was, say, 10,000. So in this case, you add it up and then whatever is left is your closing. So technically, my total consumption was 20,000. Okay? I'm sorry, having a throat trouble there. So this is the specific amount of our closing stock. Closing stock wala part done. Now, everyone, the next part that comes is what's the next issue there? What will we look at? The next part that we'll have to take up is raw material done. Then we have to find out our finished good. What is going to be the finished good? See, I bought something for 20k, sorted. But for what amount I'll be selling it? At least for maybe 25 to 35k. Why would I sell it for a smaller amount? Now, that is one particular thing I have to be clear about. So, in this case, I'll sell it for more amount and then I'll make profit out of it. That is how we find out our trading accounts profit or loss from our production. ठीक है. Done. So this is how you actually find out what is your total production. Now, based upon this, you get the direct expenses of the organization. That would be your wages, that is your salary or whatever you are paying to the labor workers. Salary is something you and I get. We are professionals, we are working, and when we talk about wages, this is for the skilled labor, right? And then freight and cartage is basically for the transportation of those specific goods or anything else. Then we have factory power, the electricity that you use in your factory. Packaging charges, the charges that you pay for the packaging. All that is a part of it. Just a moment. Let me just increase the size of this specific account. This is how our trading account actually looks like. I hope you can see it now. This is our trading account. Okay? Look at the format, please. Can you see in this format? You have your opening stock here, and then you have your closing stock here. This is what you start your money with. Start with your units. This is the specific amount of units you have. I'm sorry. Right. This is a specific amount of units you start with, and this is your closing stock. Once you're done with all these things, what next do we have? We have the purchases, the goods that you purchase during the year. Once you take that purchases, you remove only one thing out of it, the goods that you returned. Sometimes you buy 20,000 rupees worth goods, and out of this 2,000 is something that you sell. You return back because they might be faulty. Okay, that is called purchase return. If you sell something and people return back it to you, that's called sales return. Based upon this, you get your direct expenses. So once you're done with this, you will have gross profit or gross loss. So this is GP or GL. This is how we find out a trading account. Okay, done everyone? Trading account is basically a nominal account which talks about the production. During the year, you would purchase more stock while you might be having a little in your storage area, that means during the year your raw material has increased. Then you convert it into finished goods and then you sell it. When you're converting into finished goods, obviously you will have to spend some money. That is called direct expense. And if I buy something for 10k, I will not sell it for 10k. Why would someone do that? So he will sell it for major amount. So whatever your sales amount is, you write it here. And obviously not the entire stock would be sold. A part of the stock is always something which would be unsold. So that particular thing would be written in the area of closing stock. Done. That's how you find out your trading account and its format. Acha. Next part is your, in this case, you find out your gross profit or gross loss. What's the formula for this? That is, from your sales, remove your cost of goods sold. That will give you gross profit. वैसे तो मतलब keeping that particular feeling of being optimistic there, it is normally GP, but yes, there are cases that organization faces major losses and they face gross loss. In terms of GP, how does it get it? If your cost is less than your selling price. When your cost price is more than selling price, then you face losses. You know, when the money that you put into the business, then the money that you get out of the business, it varies. That is where we find a difference there. Okay? Then comes the profit and loss account. This is another account which is prepared, but this is slightly different from the other one. What's the difference between GP, the trading account, and the profit and loss account? Trading account is an account which talks about exclusively production. While after the production, even there are many things that you have to cater now. You just cannot say that a thing has been produced up, so it can be sold in any case. No, no, you never know whether it will be sold or not. You know? So what will you do? You will have to go and tell people about it. You will need some licensing. You will need some show off. You will need some advertising. You need help of the banks and advertisements in terms of the loans. All those things are also a brutal part of Indian reality. The specifically the businessmen here. You know? So how do you do this further, everyone? You will prepare a profit and loss account. Done. Done, everyone. That's how you define the profit and loss account. Profit and loss account is basically the area which contains all the indirect incomes and indirect expenses. It includes nothing else. Huh? Done. So what do we have in this case? This is your profit and loss account. In terms of your profit and loss account, what happens? Profit and loss account is prepared when the organization wants to find out overall whether they are having a profitability or their profitability is badly impacted. So they, to find out that part, they will have to create a profit and loss account, which is again a nominal account. This is also a nominal account. In terms of profit and loss account, first of all, see, from the production you must have made a profit, only then you can move forward and do something about it now. You thought the production will not be helpful, but this year the production allowed you to collect a good amount of shells there, you know. So in terms of your organization, if I talk about it from the profit, the specific area of GP or GL, the gross profit or gross loss, if you make a lot of production in a specific year, you will have to ensure that this is sold as well. Now, Lux makes a lot of soaps every year. By advertising it with the celebrities, they are able to just sell it more because people think those are using, then I might be using and turning it to the same person too. So, keeping all that thing in mind, profit and loss account helps you to build your business from the point of view of the price, the electricity, and everything else. You know, so when you are looking forward towards this area, you should be definitely checking it out. In this case, you will pick up the GP or GL. Then you have the specific area of operating expenses. Operating expenses, matlab the expenses that you are doing just to keep your business working. ठीक है? To operate, whatever is related to the business exclusively is called operating income. Done? Now, what next we have? That is the non-operating expenses, the expenses that you incur just because you are running the business and you might need it for something other than your business purpose. Hanji, done? Now, what's next? Then comes operating expenses are those expenses which are exclusively related to the management or official work. First of all, it includes your management expenses, the expenses that you incur in the business just to just to keep that particular business intact. Management has to done a lot of things. So their thinking sessions, brainstorming sessions, all those meetings are playing an important role. So in this case, it should be a better option to look forward to. Done? Done, everyone? Then in terms of operating expenses means the expenses which are uh, into the specific area of advertisement, stationery, depreciation, all those things all together. Okay? Done. In terms of this area, we will also include the selling and admin expenses, the expenses that are required to be incurred just to run your business in a proper way. It has to include all these things there, na? Done. Chale. Then operating means the business that you are, yeah, the money that you are making just because you are operating your business. All those expenses which are necessarily done are to be included in this area. This includes the income that you are making from your business exclusively or any other money which is related to your business. While if there is any income that you are making from your dividends, from the money that you are having, or you are doing it for the savings that you have made from other areas, that is to be considered as a that whatever money is correlated to your goods and services, that is all covered in the area of the first one, that is in terms of the business it is always having, this specific area altogether, and that among the following which one is more heavy and which one is light. So all that particular heavy and lighter of your business can be done only by weighing down the weights of all those specifics. Done. Operating expenses as well as the normal expenses, everything included. Operating is hardcore business based and there are other expenses too. Done. Look at this part. This is called a non-operating expenses. The expenses which are done, but none of them are looking forward towards this fact that nobody else has joined. Okay, in terms of your business, in terms of others, you and I, you're working on your own, and when we talk about the specific business altogether, then the growth of the business should be something that they are looking at for their future. See, when we talk about the trading and profit and loss account, it is something that we talk about. Trading is totally homeopathic, and trading account is something that is profit and loss account. I would say this is the area where the final working thing is done, whatever the price would be, whatever thing are to be included or not, and then this is how our family works even in terms of the money there, you know. So if the organization is making good money, then to everybody can take care of the baby. But then if any for any working towards the businesses, we are not able to do it on our own and we ask someone else to do it, it would always be someone whom you look at your business in a proper way. Managers are those people who handle your business. Done? Done, everyone? Now that we are done with the operating income and non-operating income, what next we have is something called P&L account. P&L account looks like this. In this area, it is again a nominal account, an account which talks about expenses on the debit side and incomes on the credit side. Okay, that is how we define the specific area of our profit and loss account. So profit and loss account is necessarily an account which is prepared in the business just to make sure that the business is able to justify its earnings. The profit, if it is the expenses are more than your incomes, then it's a profit or loss. If your expenses are more than your incomes, it is less. Or in this case, income is basically less than in terms of your expenses are more than your incomes, everyone. Why would the business be actually start when we talk about these kind of workings altogether? Then so profit and loss account is based upon the specific area of indirect incomes and indirect expenses. For example, I had an investment which I put in bank, and then from the bank I receive interest on daily basis, on monthly basis, or quarterly basis, or whatever the scenario is. So after that particular period of time, the organization will be looking forward towards this day. Now what happens is, in this case, when the businesses are working, they might make profits, they might make losses, and this is nothing to do with their working altogether, because sometimes when we talk about the profit and loss account, it tells you about the expenses are more and sometimes the incomes are more. So in this case, your income, if it is more than your expenses, and there's a profit. If it is less, then there would be a loss. First of all, how do you reach out to this point? You find your net profit or net loss based upon the trading account and the P&L account. Once you're done with the P&L account, you can also find exclusively the money that your business gets from the people. That is operating profit. It is not something which is based upon the position. It is based upon the area of whether it is associated with the business or not. Then the specific area is called gross profit, the expense that we used to do exclusively for in this case. Then when we talk about the specific area, operating profit is basically the profit that you make from your production itself. Then we have the gross profit. Last point is your sales revenue. Sales revenue is basically how much goods have you sold during the year. Was it really worth it or not, is to be considered in this specific area. ठीक है ना? Saw the pyramid structure, everyone? I hope now you have got the idea of how does this entire thing works. Done, everyone? Chaliye. Now moving on to the next point. Now we are done with the specific area altogether. How do we prepare the balance sheet? Balance sheet is the ultimate area. The actual report card of any organization is your balance sheet itself. Whatever assets you have, whatever liabilities you have, becomes clearer when you are preparing your balance sheet. In the balance sheet, can you see there are two areas? One is called asset side, one is called liability side. Under asset side, whatever you possess or whatever you already have is called the asset, anything that helps your business to grow further. Then the specific thing that you have is the money that you could not afford on your own, so you took a loan. which is called your the expenses, indirect expenses of the business. Why? Because you will be making the repayment of those specific loans along with the interest. That interest part is your P&L item, while the specific idea of working in the business and then putting your money into the business, that is called as capital. Okay, you have invested in the organization for a long time, and when you get anything out of it, it is your income. And this is a taxable income in the hands of individual. You must have studied in this in your uh, module D overall, है ना? चलिए. Now moving on to the next point, everyone. This is your balance sheet. In terms of the balance sheet, we have assets, liabilities, and owner's equity. In this case, everyone, if I buy my laptop for 60,000, if it is of 60,000, then 20,000 I already had, and then I got the remaining amount for the business. That means 20,000 which you already had is to be covered in the specific area of your direct expenses. Sorry, if you whatever you already had, that was a part of your assets, and when the assets are disposed of, then you will get income. So once you get the money, you bought another asset. Okay, so the money that you spend on the assets is again looking forward towards the business for their growth. If the business grows, the assets will always stay. If the people who are using that specific business, they are growing, then the business is successful. So one particular thing that we have to talk about is that your basic financial working of the organization has to be known, right? If the basic financial organization system is not clear, then it becomes very difficult and challenging for any organization to look forward uh, towards the working, you know, altogether. So now this is our balance sheet, everyone. After the balance sheet, what do we have? Assets and liabilities. Assets means anything that helps your business to grow. How does it help, everyone? If I want my business to grow, what will I do? First of all, if I want my business to grow, then I will generate some assets which will attract more people. At the same time, when we are looking forward towards the current situation in terms of the working, how does it work, everyone? In a profit and loss account, it is working through the machines in one particular go. But when the people used to prepare it earlier, then then the books of accounts had lesser highlighted areas. Okay? So liabilities is basically the money that you borrow from others while your money falls short. So that can be equity. Then the second part is the area of liabilities, that is a burden that we have taken from others just to enter the business. Okay, done. Chaliye. Now when we are done with assets and liabilities, what do we talk about? Assets, liabilities, as well as equity. All those specific assets, liabilities, and their types are stated in this page, everyone. So what you can do is either you can download it from the particular app itself, or I'll put it in my Telegram channel there. Okay, done, everyone. Done, everyone. All sorted. Now look at the particular format. Just a moment. I think this one is also a little smaller for you. So let me just make it a bigger one for you. Chaliye. This is our balance sheet, everyone. How does the balance sheet look like? You can see all the assets on the right side and all the liabilities on the uh, left side. In this case, what do? They look forward towards your business numbers that you are showing. All the properties, all the expenses, all the machineries that you possess, and all those things has to be kept in one specific area all together. That statement which has no debit or no credit is here itself. That is called your balance sheet because it is prepared as on 31st of March. Everything has to be checked on by 31st of March. If it is not done, then the particular people can face major consequences because the tax audits and everything else requires the finalization of your balance sheet. Once your finalization is done, then everything else becomes easier. Okay? This is your balance sheet. Everybody done? So look at this part. First of all, you have your fixed assets and you have your current assets. Fixed assets are those assets which you use in the business for longer period. For your example, your car, for example, your phones, for example, the laptops that you use in the business, or patents, trademarks, copyrights, all those things. That means it includes tangible as well as intangible. Okay. Then we have the specific area of current assets that we use in the business, but we are supposed to pay it as and when required. For example, if the specific current assets are to be taken, uh, then when we talk about that part, current assets or current liabilities, this is super important because ultimately the organization working can be known through this, that whatever they have to pay on short term, whatever will take a lot of time to be repaid. Done. Then we have the specific area of liabilities, the money that we borrow from others. As if the first part was all the things that we need in the business or is our assets, and from where do you arrange all these funds from? There are 2 points. First is your capital. Capital is the money that the businessman is putting into, and then we have the specific capital of it, and then we have whatever we made during the year, our profit, or we added a little more money. All those things have to be added there. Then minus your closing stock, right? Closing stock is the amount that is left over the specific material that was not sold on the yesterday, and then you can say yes, it can be sold in the upcoming specific area. So till that time, you are a liability for the organization altogether. Okay, that is how we define the area of fixed assets, current assets, fixed liabilities, other long-term liabilities. You have to pay it, but in the long term, of course. Current liabilities are those liabilities that you have to pay very soon. For example, the taxes have to be paid within a span of 3 months or 4 months maximum. Because on 31st of March and 31st of July, all these things, every single thing has to be paid by then in terms of your business. Otherwise, income tax will also put up income tax provisions. Okay, that is how you can say there are current liabilities or current liabilities, and current assets, and we have the non-current assets as well. Done, everyone? Acha, this is our balance sheet. So I hope the entire portion of P&L, balance sheet, as well as the trading account, you have got all of those specific areas all together. But before we proceed or end this particular session, let's go on to our organization's uh, website. Let's look at it, everyone. It is www.adda. We have the specific area of adda247.com, right? If you open up the 24/7, you just have to click on this specific area, and when so you once you open up this area of our website, that is our official website of the organization, where you can purchase the courses. So what you need to do is just go to the area of all courses, JIB, CIB, click on the area of May 2025. Tell everyone, if you're purchasing our courses, then the particular courses are just about to end. If you want to, then you should be purchasing it soon. For that, what you need to do is just click on the area of buy now. Use the specific code Y541, sorry, Y541, and then apply it. You will get it for 79% air and 1% extra if you download the app. So you get 80% discount at this point of time before this process end or this particular sale ends. Please go ahead and register yourself in our courses. In terms of JIB and CIB, we are providing English medium bilingual. If you are downloading the specific area of Mahapack. If you have taken Mahapack, then you can have both the batches or you can attend other batches as well, right? So you have all the specific space. Then the second part is in terms of the Mahapack, you get all the specific benefits of the particular organization is bundled together in one area. So you can just purchase the entire course and you will find all the study material, e-PDFs or the class PDFs, everything included. You will find all those things in our books of accounts. Done everyone? Chaliye then. Let's end this particular session here itself. Thank you so much for being there. I'll be meeting you in the next session. Bye bye and take care.